So today I changed things up. I got a little tip on vlogging and like how to set this camera up. I am stressing myself out thinking I need to find a better camera and figure out hooking up the microphone, which I have. I just have to figure that out. But I don't want to spend any more money on it. I just bought a camera to do some like point of view stuff and play around with that. So it's not my strong suit, but stepping out of my comfort zone, doing these vlogs to each day to get comfortable talking on camera, because I really feel that this space needs more people out there supporting each other and encouraging each other and telling other women my age, older and younger, that we need to strength train and we need to be concerned about what we put in our bodies, and we need to lift each other up during that process. So I think how I'm going to formulate things for this next time frame, just be aware things can be subject to change at any time, but right now this is going to be my format. I'm going to stick with a topic or just kind of talk about things that are important to me and about this process with my fitness, health, and nutrition and coaching. And each day I think what I would like to do is share my stats, which is related to my short-term goal, which we can talk about. So let's just talk about that at this point. My short-term goal is to start a cut phase. I'm going to cut from where I currently am, which is this morning I live next to a main road. So a short-term cut. I currently today weighed in at 129.2, and I normally we compete as Olympic weightlifters in kilos, so I'm going to switch that. I think that is equal to 58.6. I almost need like a monocolor. 58.6 kilos is what I weigh today. I typically like to compete as a 55 kilo lifter, which is 121.3. So I have to either compete as a 58 kilo lifter, which I'm a little heavy for right now at 58.6 kilos, or a 53 kilo, which is 116-ish pounds. So my goal is to compete in neither one of those classes. I think I would be more competitive at the lower, but that's a whole nother thing. So my goal right now is to drop to 54 kilos this summer. So I'm gonna start a cut phase. I'll share my total grams of fruits and vegetables I ate each day, my protein grams I eat each day, and think my calories. Yeah, my overall calories. And I can share my daily weight and my workout. So that will be what consists of every day that I check in, and then anything else I talk about will be related to whatever I feel like talking about that day. So I guess today, since we're going to start with a cut phase, I'm going to talk about my current diet plan. I am a 3 Pillars Method affiliate coach, which was started by E.C. Sinkowski. She's freaking awesome. She comes from the Crossfit space and started this framework, this 3 Pillars Method framework, which I am able to run people through and coach. And I absolutely love it. I love it because it's focused on quality first. So I add 800 grams of fruits and vegetables to my diet every single day. So I get a lot of quality that supports my health and wellness and fitness goals and my everything. It literally was a game changer. The kicker is that helps push out the stuff that usually drives my caloric intake up too high and I end up gaining weight. So that first, why it's called 3 pillars, the first pillar is the grams of fruits and vegetables. So I add fruits and vegetables. Once that's mastered, we move on to the second pillar, which is adding the protein. So we layer on the protein and have a protein target, which is actually pretty modest. So I'm shooting for 90 grams of protein per day as a almost 130 pound person, which by some standards, a lot of times you'll hear people say 1 gram per pound of body weight, but I stick closer to 90, which gives me a lot more room to have the other things that are way more fun than protein, which are the fats and the carbs. And then since I'm in a cut, that is me working on my calories. So I have a calorie target that through the process of 3 Pillars Method, I know where my maintenance calories are, so I can create a slight deficit based on that. So right now I'm shooting for between 15 and 1600 calories per day. And that is my cut number. So my goal is 800 grams at least, plus or more of fruits and vegetables, which usually ends up being about 700 to 800. I'm a little high on the calories because I like my potatoes and stuff like that. It ends up being 700-ish calories out of my 1,500 calories per day. Protein is about, like I said, I shoot for 90 grams per day. And then the calories, I'm just trying to keep my overall caloric target under the, like around 14 to 1,500. Or 14 to 1,600, sorry. 14 to 1,600. So those are my goals. As long as I hit those things, my fat pretty much stays in line, and I don't even really worry about it. I couldn't even tell you what my fat is because I haven't been tracking it. And I mean, it is tracked because of the calories are tracked, but I have no idea what it is. I can get that. If you're interested, put that on and I can add it to the thing that I say throughout the day. So that's how I manage my weight and how I'm going to manage this cut. So each day I'll report those numbers, which I just did, my weight and what I did for workouts. And you just got a little history of my diet, menopause moment. So what my training looks like yesterday, what I did for training yesterday specifically. And I guess that means I should probably talk about my goals, which I can talk about at the end. So my training yesterday, I did my Olympic weightlifting program. I have a coach that coaches me in Olympic weightlifting, and so he sends me 3 to 4-ish workouts a week to do. And right now we're kind of in a off season, if you will. So I'm not even doing both of the lifts. But yesterday was trap bar deadlifts, and I can add some footage of that or try to add some footage of that in. Trap bar deadlifts. I did some cross sack. I can't believe I hope I got that right. Squats. And I think there was a 1 mile sled drag. I dragged a sled. I did not put any weight on it. It was about 65 pounds because I really wanted to know how I would feel. I didn't want to get like halfway and be dead and take like an hour to do something that should take me about less than 30 minutes. So I didn't load any weight, and I just was kind of sandbagging. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't very uncomfortable. It was, in the moment, felt very uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable. It was hard. So next time I would definitely need, because it's probably going to be programmed next week, I need to add a little more weight. Note to self. I may sandbag it depending on how I feel that day. So yeah, that I did there was some other accessory work. Maybe I should written it down. But there was a couple other accessory things that I had to do for that. And then I'm currently doing a 10 push-up per day challenge, so I would do some push-ups. I ran a mile during work. I got up and ran a mile during lunch, which I don't even know why I know why I was doing that. I had added in a mile because I was doing a 5K a couple months ago, and then they decided to have another 5K that I was through my gym this month. And so I just kind of added a mile so running wouldn't seem so hard. And I don't like running, so I just run a mile where I run a minute and a half and then I walk for 30 seconds. So it takes me about anywhere from 10 and a half to 12 minutes to do, depending on how fast I go or how I'm feeling that day. Then, what else did I do yesterday? I swear I have it written down. Gymnastic skill work. Okay, so which was some chin-ups, chin-up hold, and ring rows. So I kind of interspersed that stuff while I was doing my trap bar deadlifts and stuff yesterday. So, there were some calf raises too. So anyways, now, is it obvious that I have ADD? Okay, and I probably need to dial this in a little bit. I'll work on that. Okay, so my goals. I know I mentioned that yesterday that I don't, with this season of life, with so many people are screaming at us on you have to do HIIT, you have to do XYZ and all this kind of craziness. So I've been a consistent exerciser in following some kind of weightlifting plan for multiple years now. Or doing CrossFit consistently for over 10 years now. So I'm okay with doing stuff every day, but this season it's been really hard with being the menopause, perimenopause. It's been really hard with lack of sleep and really finding what intensity I need to bring to my workouts. And what I found in my experience is I don't need to have the intensity be like ramped up every freaking day. Like I literally let the intensity find me. If I'm doing a workout and I love it and can push the pedal to the metal, then I do. If I'm doing a workout and that day I've had a plan for it to push to the metal and my body is literally screaming at me because I maybe didn't have enough sleep or, whatever reason, just feeling like crap, I don't push. And I'm okay with that most days. I sometimes have to talk myself off the ledge, but I'm able to see in ways that I'm improving. I'm outside of weightlifting and the few goals I have, I don't really have a set plan to do anything. So that's kind of where I'm at without getting stuck going down a rabbit hole for 7 million hours. So let's go into my specific goals real quick for what I am currently doing this summer. So I talked about a deficit. That's where my nutrition is. There is probably a state meet, Olympic weightlifting state meet that I would do in September, October timeframe going into the fall. So that's one of my goals. I would like to compete at that at a 55 to 53 kilo weightlifter, somewhere in that range. I'm going to cut down so that I can compete in either. My other goal is to get a strict ring muscle up by October. I have a person in my gym, he's doing an ultra marathon, like a million bazillion miles. He's a little younger than me. I think he's in his 30s. And he's doing an ultra marathon. And since he put it out there that he was doing that, I was like, well, I'm going to set my goal, because that's pretty badass. I'm going to set my timeline for this ring muscle up so that I stay consistent with my training for the ring muscle up to October when he does this thing. So that's what my goal is. If I don't make October, I'll keep going and get it at some point. So 3 to 4 days a week, I'm trying to do some gymnastics work that support the ring muscle up. I think I want to do, there's this one program that I've always wanted to do. I kind of like this little bit of cardio focus each day. There's this bike wave program that has you doing, it's a 30-minute, 3 times per week program. And I think I'm going to do it 4 to 6 days a week, but only 15 minutes. So I'm just going to fit it in when I can, 4 to 6 days a week. It's just kind of like an interval, and I'm going to do half of it and just kind of see what happens. Now, I know that the gymnastics plus this little bit of cardio plus what I'm doing, and I do my Olympic weightlifting training, plus doing all those things kind of compete, and I'm okay with if one kind of takes away from the other. So that is what my plan is. I think what else I'm going to add, because I was inspired by Marcella, the owner of New Species CrossFit where I coach. I was inspired by her benching for reps just did 4 or 5 reps of 170 pound bench press. Last year I trained for a good 6 months, a super simple program, 1 session per week of bench. Maybe it was closer to 10 months when it's all said and done, because I did it from the beginning of the year through my birthday. I went from a 50 kilo, which is 123 pound bench press for a single rep, to 65 kilo, which I think is 140-ish pound. I'll have to do the math and put it on if I ever learn how to edit. A 65 kilo in that 10 months, just doing 1 workout a week, super fast, just added it in because I like to bench. So I think I might add bench and deadlift in. We'll see. But bench is my priority. I want to get my bench to 70 plus kilos by my birthday for my 1 rep max. I want to max. I honestly want to be able to do 170 pound bench press, which is 77 kilos. Get used to it. I lift in kilos because of Olympic weightlifting. So with that, I think I'm going to end it and try to get better at reining this all in. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.